Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get started now. I want to welcome you here today because Billy Callahan was Mr. 4th of July and he was Mr. Edgeworth, those of us that knew him. William R. Callahan came from an esteemed family of dedicated veterans who served the city of Malden. Billy Callahan was born in 1925. He was raised in Malden on Russell Street, not far from where we stand today. Billy Callahan served the city with pride and distinction, and we can all be proud to have known him. In 1949, Billy Callahan enlisted in the United States Army just before the outbreak of the Korean War. Like his brother Eddie, a U.S. Navy World War II veteran, and Paul, a U.S. Marine Corps veteran of battle in Korea, Billy believed in service to others and in service to his country. He served Malden for nearly 20 years as Ward 2 City Councilor and then as a state representative representing Malden. I lived here in Ward 2 in the 1950s and 1960s, and to me, Billy Callahan was the 4th of July. I lived across the street from Devere Park, where Billy would have the largest and greatest 4th of July celebrations that I have ever seen. No offense to anyone else. Back in those days, Billy also had a 4th of July parade, and I have a photo of my dad marching in front of the Norman Prince Band as they turned on Charles Street onto the Fellsway, and you could see the convent of the Immaculate Conception Church in the background, and there were 6 to 8 people deep on both sides of the street. They didn't have computers and 1,000 channels back in those days, so the community got out and really represented or celebrated holidays in service to our country. Billy Callahan even managed to get a 3-ring circus on more than one occasion to come to Devere Park in the 1960s. The Big Top, 3-ring circus like Barnum and Bailey, right across the street from my house, about 100 yards. Doesn't get much better than that. Those are great memories, and we owe them to Billy Callahan. He came from a proud family. His father was an immigrant from Ireland, and there were 3 boys and a sister, May. Sadly, Billy Callahan died at a young age in January 1976. He left his wife, Ann, his daughter, Mary Ann, and the city of Malden way too early. I never got to say thank you to Billy Callahan because he died when I was away in the military. But today, please join with me as we all say thank you to Mr. 4th of July, William R. Billy Callahan, a distinguished and dedicated public servant and a U.S. Army veteran of the Korean War. As you know, he didn't just represent Malden in Malden, he went to the State House, and he was a Democratic member of the Massachusetts House of Representatives. He served one term from 1971 to 73, and of course we all know now U.S. Senator Markey succeeded him in 1973 as a state representative. Before serving in the state legislature, Billy actually served on what was called in those days the Malden Common Council for 2 years, and then the City Council for 14. He was a member of multiple organizations. He was proud of his Irish heritage, but it was also the heritage of all his constituents, the Italians, Jewish, and everybody here in Edgeworth. He loved everybody. And I can close my eyes and see his smile right now. In 1949, after Billy enlisted in the U.S. Army, just before the outbreak of the war, that was the thing to do. His brother was in World War II, and his younger brother Paul would again enlist in the Marine Corps and serve in the Korean War. It was just the thing to do in those days. His older brother Paul retired as a colonel, and of course Eddie died way too young at the age of 36, about 500 yards from here in front of the A&P, serving his country, killed in the line of duty as a police officer, public safety officer, trying to keep us all safe. And I remember as a young boy how devastated the city was. On July 8th, 1978, Billy Callahan Park, or William R. Callahan Park, was dedicated in his honor to recognize his distinguished service and dedication to the residents of Malden and, of course, the residents of Edgeworth, and also his country, all U.S. citizens, because he fought for his country. At that dedication, then Ward 2 City Councilor Don Fermano said that he thought that a park dedication was fitting because of Billy Callahan's work was always dedicated to children, our future. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce the mayor to say a few words, and a few other speakers after that to honor Billy Callahan. Thank you.
Good afternoon. President John F. Kennedy once said, "As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live them." I am proud to say that Malden has taken this advice to heart and has continually shown its pride and respect for those that have served our country. Through the advocacy of Kevin Jarvis, who works tirelessly for our veterans and their families, along with the commitment of our city councilors, we have initiated the dedications of squares and memorials throughout the city. Today is an example, and what better time than Veterans Day to recognize one of Malden's own heroes, William Billy Callahan. In 1950, Billy, who lived here in Edgeworth, enlisted in the United States Army just before the outbreak of the Korean War. He came from a proud family of dedicated public servants and veterans who served our nation. His brother Eddie Callahan, a Malden police officer and World War II United States Navy veteran, was killed in 1963 in the line of duty during a robbery. Another brother, Paul Callahan, colonel in the United States Marine Corps, served in Korea as a Marine officer and was a Malden schoolteacher, assistant principal, and counselor at large. Keeping with family tradition, Billy not only served his country, but he was also committed to his community. As a city councilor for 14 years and as a state representative for one term. He passed away at the early age of 50, and on July 8, 1978, this park was dedicated in his honor. Malden's motto is strong past, proud future. And today we rededicate this park so that it will continue to remind us of Billy Callahan's service to country and service to community, as it is enjoyed by many, many Malden residents for years to come. Thank you.
Thanks. You want us to stand here with you? Sure, please. At this time, I'd like to introduce a man who is now filling the steps, or fill the steps, will be filling other steps in the succession of Billy Callahan representing Edgeworth. Please welcome City Councilor, Ward 2, Edgeworth Councilor Steve Altrino, newly elected state representative for the City of Malden. Steve? Big shoes to fill.
If Kevin Jarvis liked the parade so much, Councilor Condon and I said, you can run the parades again on July 4th if you'd like. So, but I just want to say thank you very much for all of you coming. It's an honor, not only growing up on Adams Street and being in Edgeworth, but a lot of the success we've had is because of the roots that I've learned from the people of St. Peter's, the people of Edgeworth, and many of you here today. But this whole block, now with a revitalization of this area, this whole block is dedicated for all the students of our high school and all of our community groups that will be able to enjoy all this open space. And I want to thank the mayor for allowing this and helping to get the funds to make this happen. This is an honor. I did not know Mr. Callahan, as I wasn't born until 1976, but his legacy will always be remembered. And I want to thank former Councilor Condon for giving me a great groundwork of 26 years as a councilor, being able to fulfill so many projects. And we are very blessed, not only on Veterans Day, but every day to have someone like Kevin Jarvis at City Hall to work with our veterans. No one is more passionate about helping veterans than what Kevin Jarvis has done and has continued to do. So thank you very much. And this is all for you and for all of our children. So thank you.
26 years. I forgot. Congratulations. Councilor Condon was very instrumental in carrying on the legacy and representing and working for the citizens of Malden. So thank you very much. At this time we have a young lady who lives in Billy Callahan's old house. She'd like to say a few words on behalf of Billy Callahan's daughter, Ann, and the Callahan family. Please welcome Jackie Walsh. Thanks for coming.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. I'm a little nervous. I spoke with Mary Ann Callahan last night, and she is very grateful for the rededication of this park for her dad. She was unable to be here today with her 2 children. When I was a child, William R. Billy Callahan was, in fact, one of my most favorite people. He was my father's best friend, and his wife Ann was my mother's best friend. Billy and Ann were my sister Teresa's godparents. Our families were together so much of my childhood. After Billy's passing, Ann and her daughter Mary Ann were very much a part of my family. Today, well, Mary Ann, she's another sister. Billy Callahan was a member of Common Council, then a city councilor, then the state representative for the city of Malden. His public service defined the term public servant. He did this city proud. And then there was the Billy Callahan who loved parades. Billy planned the best parades this city ever saw. His 4th of July celebrations were elaborate. At minimum, 2-day events. 4th of July at Dever Park with Billy Callahan, exceptional, extraordinary, and an immensely enjoyable time for all ages. There was also the 4th of July Carnival and fireworks at Brother Gilbert Stadium. What most of you may not know is that Billy sometimes reached into his own pocket to help Boys Catholic cover the expense of those fireworks. There were those who struggled financially and were not able to pay their rent or mortgage, so Billy once again would reach into his own pocket. There were Little League teams that he sponsored personally and financially, T-shirts and all. He absolutely loved children. In the summer of 1973, Billy, Ann, their daughter Mary Ann, invited my family to Old Orchard Beach, Maine, and we stayed at the Swiss Colony Motel. The pool there was great. Billy watched all of us having a great time and said to Ann, "We have to have a pool." He hired a pool contractor and the digging began. Billy had been ill in 1973 and had to have brain surgery. Billy never recovered from the surgery and spent the remainder of his life in the Chelsea Soldiers' Home and passed away in January of 1976. He never had the opportunity to swim in his own pool. We did, at least in the 3 feet. You see, my mom and Ann couldn't swim, so we weren't allowed to pass the 3 feet mark. We were all at the Y that fall for swim lessons, and we were all swimming in the deep end the following summer. As the years passed, we continued to spend our summers in the Callahan backyard. Ann passed away on January 5th, 2004. The fall of 2004, Billy's daughter, Mary Ann, called and asked if anyone in my family would be interested in purchasing her home, as she wanted family to live there. Now I live on Highland Court, and I am ever so proud to live in Billy Callahan's home. My great-nieces and nephews are now swimming in Billy's pool. 3 generations enjoying Billy Callahan's generosity, sincerity, and love of children. Loyalty, it's important. When Billy and Ann's daughter Mary Ann married in December '94, my sister Teresa was in the wedding. My father was elated and felt blessed when asked to deliver the prayer at Mary Ann's wedding reception. Mary Ann now has 2 children, Billy's grandchildren, Mackenzie and Cameron. My sister Teresa is Mackenzie's godmother. Billy should be remembered for his dedication to public service, his love for this city, and his unwavering commitment to family and friends. I will forever remember and hold close to my heart the memories I have of William R. Billy Callahan. For those here today who knew him, you'll understand. Pray for us. Thank you.
Why don't you stay up here, Jackie, please. Thank you, Jackie. On behalf of Mary Ann, that was really good. I grew up in Edgeworth, so it means a lot to me. At this time, I'd like to introduce a man who also has done a lot for Edgeworth, the city of Malden, and all its constituents. At this time, please welcome Representative Chris Fallon. A U.S. Navy veteran, I might add.
I am just pleased to have the opportunity to be part of this ceremony today. There's nothing I could say here, and I knew Billy well, after what Jacqueline just said. My words should and will fall on deaf ears. Billy, I first met on the second floor, 27 Talbot Street, when he was sitting around a kitchen table with my father, a former police officer, Henry Fallon. I have to admit something, though, today. I have to admit that even though I lived in Ward 3, I would not go to Amherst Park for the 4th of July celebration. I would go down to Deva. Now, that's significant in this regard. The city councilor of Ward 3 was a fellow by the name of Paul Hammersley, and he was my godfather. Never forgave me. Jacqueline, marvelous remarks. Marvelous. I know you did Billy very proud today. Thank you all for being part of this program. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to recognize another Korean War veteran, Mr. Pinkham, standing over here, who I know knew Billy Callahan much better than all of us. Well, I want to thank you all for coming here today. Unless anyone else has a few words they'd like to say, I'm open. Feel free. But at this time, I'd just like to rededicate this Memorial Square sign in honor of Billy Callahan. It'll stand behind me forever, and if we have to replace it another 50 years, we'll do it. But also, thank you to the City of Malden representatives for making this possible. In memory of William R. Callahan, dedicated City Council and State Representative, United States Army, Korea. On the other side of the sign, it'll say William R. Callahan Memorial Park. But I always want people to know as they walk by what it really means. That was Billy Callahan.